So I've had a few comments like this. People they thinking about door dashing. I'm thinking about starting the DoorDash or Uber Eat after my wife gets home. Stay at home dad, my 2 year old, and I live right next to an area with a ton of restaurants. I'm gonna follow you for a bit and try to see if it's worth it. So, a couple comments or a couple points to get to there. I just said good on you for being a stay-at-home dad, and just try and see what they offer you in your area. DoorDash is kind of market dependent, and it won't cost you anything to try it. So, but I want to get to this. Might bore you guys, but I'm going to an ETF. We're going into stocks a little bit, not stocks, but this graph shows the food and beverage industry over the last year. What it's an ETF, so McDonald's, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Wendy's, Chipotle, Starbucks, everything's kind of in this. So this is the last year of, it's not sales, it's market sentiment, but it kind of tells a good tale, and I'll go into that here in a second actually. So it's obviously in a downtrend, a pretty big one. That's a pretty big red bar at the right hand side of the screen, and not looking good for dashers at this point. So my point is, it's market dependent for DoorDash if there's a lot of orders in your area, but also you got to consider the economy, and there's less money in people's pockets now. Some of these places are struggling. They're maybe higher end and not getting enough customers. Places like McDonald's and Yum brands, or like Taco Bell and Pizza Hut are doing well, or hanging in there, I should say, hanging in there. Even though Yum wants to sell Pizza Hut now, so it's just less money in people's pockets nowadays. So beware of that. So I went over a couple of my $1,000 challenges, which I don't want to spoil too much. But anyway, May 23rd is when I did my first one this year. And that big vertical bar that's May 23rd on the chart. So it was doable back then for sure. The next one was July 14th is when I started it. And then if you look at this vertical bar, it was kind of doable back then. But nowadays, when you look to the right of this chart, that there's I don't think there's a chance you can make $1,000 in this town in a week. The DoorDash orders have dried up. As a matter of fact, like this vertical bar is September 2nd, and I noticed a big decrease in orders and everything. And it's funny because this chart doesn't chart how many DoorDash orders you get. It's just a food and beverage ETF. When people are sour, people don't have money in their pocket, as much money as they did. And, DoorDash is, whether you want to admit it or not, it's a luxury item. So when people are paying extra for just anything at any store, you don't have as much expendable income. So, and it went down. And this chart, basically, I looked back over the last year, it really charts how well you do at DoorDash. So it's an ETF on the NASDAQ. Just means, conglomerate of all the stocks, not all the stocks, but, most of the food and beverage stocks. So things are not looking good. So if you want to start now and you're discouraged, don't be too discouraged. But, people do have to still have money and buy food for you to make it at DoorDash. Battery dying again. Also, people are smart. They're paying so much for DoorDash that they don't tip as much, and they know they'll get their order because there is oversaturation in some areas. So that's another thing to think about. And also, what bothers me though is don't order DoorDash if you're that broke, dude. You're gonna spend $60 on McDonald's and then tip $1. Like, are you tipping your waitresses and your waiters at restaurants that much money? Or, I don't know. It's just a strange thing. I personally feel DoorDash, I'm not going to say it's dying, but people are not spending as much money right now. And there's not enough orders coming in. And there's a ton of people to take them. And they'll take them for no tip at all. $2 order for 4 miles. people are taking those. It's ridiculous. So good on them. Good luck to you in the long run. But anyway, that's my point. I got a lot more coming on this idea. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.